My name is Margaret, a 62-year-old retired teacher who believed her son, Daniel, was the pride of her life. I raised him alone after my husband's death, sacrificing everything to give him the best education, the best future. But somewhere along the way, Daniel changed. Success turned him arrogant, and love turned to control. One morning, I discovered he was trying to take over my bank account, claiming that I was too old to manage my own finances. That day, something inside me broke, but not in weakness, in resolve. If my son wanted to treat me like a helpless old woman, he was about to learn who truly taught him strength. Daniel had always been ambitious. That was something I admired. But over the years, ambition had turned into greed. He barely visited anymore unless he needed money. When he did, he'd pat me on the shoulder and call me Mom. You're too emotional. Let me handle your affairs. One afternoon, my bank called to confirm a large transfer from my account to his company. My signature was on the form, but I had never signed it. My hands trembled as I realized my own son had forged my name. I called Daniel immediately, and he answered with a casual laugh. Mom, it's just a small amount. I'll pay you back. Small amount. It was my life savings, the same savings I had built over 30 years of teaching children, so I could retire peacefully. I spent that night staring at old photos, his graduation, his first car, the smile he used to give me. Where had that boy gone? My heart was shattered, but the teacher in me whispered, sometimes the hardest lessons must be taught by experience. That night, I made a decision. Daniel thought he could manipulate me, but he had no idea what I was capable of. I called my lawyer the next morning, pretending to be confused about some documents. In reality, I wanted to know if I still had control over my accounts, and thankfully, I did. But Daniel's company was already in deep financial trouble. That's when an idea struck me. If my son wanted control, I'd give him a taste of real control and responsibility. With the help of my late husband's friend, I quietly bought 49% shares in Daniel's struggling company under a different name. Within weeks, the company started collapsing because Daniel had mismanaged everything. Then, at the next board meeting, I appeared not as his mother, but as his silent investor. When he saw me, his face turned pale. Mom, what are you doing here? I'm just making sure my money is handled properly, I said calmly. The room went silent. His employees looked at him, confused. He realized for the first time that I wasn't just an old woman with savings. I was a woman with power, knowledge, and control. That day, the lesson began. Daniel tried to regain control, but every move he made backfired. He had built his empire on ego and shortcuts, and now it was crumbling. Clients left, partners withdrew, and soon he came to me, not as a CEO, but as a son begging for help. Mom, please, I need your advice, he said, his voice breaking. I looked at him, the same boy I once held in my arms. Daniel, advice was always free. Respect wasn't. He broke down. I didn't mean to hurt you. I just wanted to prove I could manage things. Tears filled my eyes. By stealing from me? I asked softly. He had no answer. Over the next weeks, I helped him rebuild, but this time, with conditions. He worked under me, learning discipline and humility. The proud CEO now arrived early, took notes, and even made me tea during meetings. Slowly, the arrogant man disappeared, and my son returned. It wasn't revenge anymore. It was redemption for both of us. Months passed, and the company was stable again. Daniel had learned to value honesty, effort, and respect. One evening, he came to me with a small box. Inside was a silver pen, engraved with the words, "To the woman who taught me everything, even humility." He held my hands and said, "Mom, I'm sorry. I was blind." I smiled, tears in my eyes. It's never too late to see, son. That night, as I sat by the window, I thought about all the years of struggle, the nights I cried alone, the sacrifices I made, and the strength I didn't know I had. I realized that sometimes, love isn't about protecting someone from pain. It's about letting them face the consequences of their choices, and still being there when they fall. Daniel had tried to ruin me, but in doing so, he found himself. And as for me, I found peace. Life has a strange way of teaching us lessons, sometimes through strangers, and sometimes through the ones we love most. My son thought age had made me weak, but he forgot one thing. I was the one who raised him to be strong. What Daniel did broke my heart, but it also rebuilt our bond in a way I never imagined. Forgiveness doesn't erase pain, it transforms it. Today, he runs the company with honesty and humility, And every decision he makes begins with one question. Would Mom be proud of this? I smile when I see him now, not as the man who betrayed me, but as the son who finally found his way back. Because sometimes, the greatest lesson a parent can teach isn't about success or failure. It's about respect, redemption, and love that never gives up.